The Jefferson nickel became a familiar part of American life from 1946 to 2003, circulating quietly through decades of social and economic change. It was used daily in shops, transport, and homes, creating the illusion that it was ordinary and replaceable. After 1946, production resumed with renewed consistency following wartime adjustments, and the Jefferson nickel settled into its role as one of the most widely handled coins in the United States. Its design remained steady, which caused most people to overlook small but meaningful differences. Between 1946 and the early 1950s, minting practices varied slightly from year to year. Changes in pressure, dye preparation, and metal flow introduced subtle variations that only careful observers would later recognize. Many nickels from 1946 show differences in strike sharpness, particularly in Jefferson's hair and the steps of Monticello. These details became critical markers for identifying high-quality and rare examples. Collectors eventually noticed that some coins from 1946 displayed unusually crisp details despite being struck in large quantities. These coins stood out not because of age, but because of precision. As the years progressed toward the 1960s, Jefferson Nickels from 1946 onward continued to enter circulation in massive numbers. Most were worn down, scratched, or lost, reducing the population of well-preserved examples. Certain nickels from 1946 to the 1970s were struck with dies that produced full steps on Monticello, a feature highly valued by collectors. These steps are often weak or incomplete on normal coins. The presence of full steps transformed otherwise common nickels into highly sought-after pieces. From 1946 onward, only a small fraction of coins achieved this level of detail. Some Jefferson nickels from 1946 show minor die cracks or die polishing lines. While these features look insignificant, they help identify specific production runs that lasted only briefly. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, coins from 1946 era dies were replaced more frequently, making certain transitional strikes especially rare. These coins quietly entered circulation without notice. Condition became the most important factor over time. A Jefferson nickel from 1946, in worn condition, holds little interest, while a pristine example tells a completely different story. By the 1990s, collectors began systematically studying Jefferson nickels from 1946 onward, mapping patterns and identifying which combinations of year, mint, and strike quality mattered most. Some nickels from 1946 survived untouched in bank rolls, private collections, or forgotten storage. These coins preserved their original surfaces, making them valuable reference points. The design consistency from 1946 to 2003 worked against public awareness. Without dramatic visual changes, most people assumed no variation existed at all, yet specialists knew that coins from 1946 carried hidden differences beneath their familiar appearance. These differences defined rarity, not mintage numbers. Mint marks added another layer of complexity. Certain mint locations produced fewer high-quality strikes from 1946, increasing scarcity for specific combinations. As grading standards improved, Jefferson nickels from 1946 began receiving detailed certifications. Professional grading revealed just how few top-tier examples actually existed. Auction records showed steady growth in demand. Coins once ignored from 1946 suddenly attracted competition as collectors recognized their scarcity. The long production span from 1946 to 2003 created a wide field of study, but only a narrow selection of coins emerged as truly exceptional. What makes these nickels remarkable is how quietly they survived. Coins from 1946 were rarely protected, rarely saved, and rarely respected at the time. Each surviving high-grade example represents thousands that were lost to circulation. From 1946 onward, survival became the true measure of rarity. Collectors now view the Jefferson nickel from 1946 as a series where value is hidden rather than obvious. The smallest details separate ordinary coins from historic pieces. One exceptional Jefferson nickel from this long span has been associated with a valuation of $2.3 million, redefining how coins from 1946 are perceived in the modern market. This level of value was not created overnight. It emerged through decades of study, verification, and competition among serious collectors. The coin's importance lies in its precision, preservation, and timing. A Jefferson nickel from 1946 in perfect condition captures a moment that cannot be recreated. Most examples were worn away, but a few remained untouched, preserving sharp lines and clean surfaces that collectors prize. The series proves that common use does not mean common value. Coins from 1946 were everywhere, which is why so few survived in elite condition. Today, Jefferson Nickels from 1946 to 2003 are studied with care, as collectors continue to uncover patterns once invisible. Each discovery reinforces the idea that rarity often hides inside familiarity. The Jefferson Nickel from 1946 stands as proof that history can exist quietly in everyday change. These coins continue to remind collectors that value is not always announced. Sometimes it waits patiently, unnoticed, for someone willing to look closer.